rivals, welcome to Pax Attacks. Today we've got a recap of the Burning Lies event that just ended, and things went pretty well. This was the about 6 hours into the event with 2 days, 5 or 6 hours left. Let's just take a quick look at the scoreboard back at that point. The top score was about 8,700, number 10 around 3,700, and number 100, the cutoff for the silver statue, about just under 1,000. And I was sitting there at a little over 300 embers with rank 544. Now it's real tough to tell at the beginning what kind of score you're going to need to make it into the standing for these statues. We'll jump ahead to about 4.5 hours left in the event. That's sitting at Stronghold 13, and I had a lot of other things to do this weekend, so I cut it a little bit on the close side. You need 850 for the main prize of the Sleeping Flame Sigil. And so I am one attack away if I use Sulric as the Ancient, and I did that for all of the attacks in the event. Actually, I like going with the theme whenever that's feasible. And just quickly looking through the scores again, about the 3,000 mark is needed for the silver statue, but it looks like the bronze will not be that hard to obtain. Alright, so we're hopefully going to get the sigil on this attack. The benefit of the sigil is the ability to upgrade either Anir or Sulric, one rarity level up to a maximum of epic. It'll take something different to go from epic to legendary, and actually we're going to see that in the third week of the event series. So we've had 2 chances to get sigils to go up from superior to rare to epic. And in week 3 there'll be a different material, different ascension material to get up to legendary. Now my Sulric is not very high level, and I was getting kind of tired at this point, so I shifted over to player versus player in hopes of seeing a easier base to hit for this last one. And it's a pretty reasonable base. It's Stronghold 13, kind of a bow tie design with a very heavy base at the bottom. That'll give us actually plenty of time and buildings just to build up mana to use the shield, the second spell of Sulric, in order to protect against the spell towers in the middle. Usually versus the bow tie, I like to send a troop or a dragon in order to get just a little bit extra mana up top, and then come in from the opposite direction and get the full number of buildings and mana for there. Now here there's only one air defender up top, so we can get a few buildings for pretty cheap. And we'll drop in the troops, and hopefully the dragon timing coming down will be a good distraction versus the towers as well, so they'll take their first shot against the dragon. Alright, we're looking real good on mana here. The troops are pretty spread out, but it's a pretty good area of effect on the second spell, and basically we're just going to be reusing that spell and using some of the Rain of Fire to soften things up. You have to make sure that you have the 10 mana for the shield, but if you have extra, using the Rain of Fire is a good way to get extra damage down there and to start doing some damage to the spell towers. I'm not a big fan of the third spell, the Elemental, although situationally it's very useful. Alright, so that's a win. It's 5 points for player versus player and 2 for using Sulric. And so that's going to bring our total up to 850 to get the sigil. So that's pretty good. Pace myself for that event. Also get a relic chest for that attack. Oh, another Elder Mage. I literally got like 14 this event. Quan, I saw him so often I was almost sick of him. They may need to change the probabilities of getting the different ancients. I have not seen a top ancient in a long time. But regardless, here's the Sleeping Flame Sigil. And it's kept in your inventory until you're ready to use it. So if you're undecided on Anir or Sulric, you do not have to use that right away. And let me show you the secret to my success here. That's right, a level 11 Sulric. So for those of you who think that he's not a good ancient, or that he's not good unless he's high level, I'm here to tell you that's not correct. You have to be a lot more watchful at low level. The spell only lasts for about 8.5 seconds, and the starting mana is lower. But if you're careful about gathering mana before the attack and watching very closely on your spell timing and the spell towers, even a low-level Sulric can be very effective. The Rain of Fire will be more effective at high levels. I have spent most of my Primus and the first sigil on Anir, so I will likely to be duplicating or using a second sigil on him and trying to get him up to legendary. So that was it for the Burning Lies event, and hopefully we'll be in the running for a statue. At this point it was looking pretty good. Now there's also a fire test bundle that's really not too bad. You're paying for the gems and the stones there, and it's a good value in that you get about 8 chests really for the same cost as the other stuff, and there's a good chance of Karis in there. Alright, so we fast forward to the end of the event, and indeed we got the bronze Sulric statue. I was surprised at the number of embers needed to actually get a statue. It turned out to be right around the 670 mark. That was actually less than you needed for the 850 for the sigil. And we'll go ahead and install Sulric on this plinth. We'll keep the Malice statue for the other one. And there he is. Pretty buff looking bronze guy. If he thinks that's helpful in his quest to help Astara, I hope that is the case. And if he's not helpful to Astara, I'm going to be taking him off his plinth. Kind of an interesting drama between the two brothers. Not quite sure what to make of that, but it's quite interesting. Alright, so yeah, I stopped at the 850 mark and went to bed. The silver required 3254 to get. That's quite a bit of effort. And now let's take a look at the spell progression for Sulric once you use the second sigil and give him the ability to get up to Epic. These values for the new 10 levels of Epic are shown at the bottom. The Rain of Fire damage is 336 to 343 at level 41, and that's coming up from 295 to 301. And then at 46, the damage is 354 to 361. That's really quite good. I'm curious to see what it's going to be like when it's legendary. The armor duration gets above 12 seconds, actually 12.5 seconds at level 47. The elemental that you can summon is level 11. And on defense, the firebolt damage goes up to 71 to 78. So that's really quite an increase from level 41 to 45. So getting them up to max is definitely worthwhile from a defensive standpoint. Alright, so let's consider the event overall, how that went. First, the length and format. I think 3 days was workable, much better than 4, which was way too long. I found 2 the best, but if you were busy on one of those days, you're kind of stuck, so having 3 days helps you to catch up on that. And the format as an individual event, I think, was very good. Not everyone was interested in the Sulric statue. So overall, I give it a good rating on the length and format. The prize value and effort cost. The sigil as an ability to increase the rarity of Sulric or Anir is quite a good prize, and the Sulric statue for what we expected to be just a little bit more, but it turned out to be the same in terms of the number of embers, is a decent, not a great reward. It's probably not the strongest statue, but the ability for people to put in a modest effort and to be able to get any kind of statue, I think is a really good thing. And I think they have realized that the effort on some of the previous events was just way too much. It was definitely able to get both the sigil and a statue without spending money if you chose to on this event, although you had to be quite active to do that. So overall, I think the prize values were good, and the effort cost was definitely not overboard, not a pay-to-win thing. In terms of special features for the event, the ability to kind of choose a side between the two brothers was interesting from a story perspective, and from a gameplay perspective, there was a bonus for using Sulric, and he's actually quite a good ancient to use. A lot of people ignore him. He's the first ancient you get, and some people never go back to him. But his second spell in particular, and at higher levels, the first one and third one, are quite useful. So I had a lot of folks say that they would never have thought to try Sulric, and we're glad that that the event encouraged but did not require you to use that. So overall, I like the use of Sulric for the event. In terms of the Kingdom impact, the individual tournament really doesn't have a big impact on the Kingdom, other than some folks find it a little bit hard to get their raids in, but really that shouldn't be an excuse. There were definitely some folks in the Kingdom going for the Sigil and no more. Others were interested in the statue, and yet others really weren't interested in either of those two ancients, and so didn't put much effort into this particular event. I'm definitely hoping that the third event in the series is also going to be individual. Otherwise, you're going to have kingdoms where half, 2/3 of the people are interested in the event and the reward, and the others who didn't get the sigil or didn't even go for it are going to have no interest in it, and that's going to be very disruptive if it is a kingdom event. But I think that it's likely to be another individual event. It wouldn't make any sense to change the horse midstream on that one. So overall, kingdom impact was minimal, and that's a good thing. So that's my thoughts on the event. If you have thoughts, I'd love to hear about them in the comments section. I'm definitely looking forward to week 3, having got 2 sigils. The chance to get the legendary Ascension materials sounds really interesting. So hope you have fun with that event too, and thanks for watching.